Hey gang, here with the some more PC Autopsy answers for you. These will be for number 5 and number 6 videos. The answer to number 5 was the heat sinks, and the answer to 6 was the DVD drive. DVD drive is basic. You guys are probably very familiar with the DVD drive. It's used to play DVDs. So DVDs are just a form of recordable media or memory. This basically does the same thing as what this hard drive does in the computer. It has a laser that is able to read data off the disk. In this case, it doesn't have anything to write on the disk. It just reads it. So that's all a DVD optical drive is really. But these were particularly interesting. So some of you got these right, but it's a journey for some of you. These are called heat sinks. So, the same reason we have a fan in a computer, there's a lot of heat that's generated inside of there. Things get really hot, and you're dealing with things that could get damaged by the heat. So they've come up with all these ways to keep things cool, baby. If you look at the heat sink, it's got fins. So this is a very thermoconductive type of metal, and what it's used to pull the heat away from the computer component and dissipate it out. The reason it's this shape with these fins is because if you think about it, they're maximizing the surface area of this metal for a small space. So in other words, if I have a piece of paper this big and I fold it down, it fits in a much smaller area. But it's actually a pretty good sized piece of paper. So in the case of a heat sink, it's able to fit inside the computer, and it's found a way to spread the area out. So in other words, the heat that's coming off the component has all this area to sort of spread into and sort of get away from the stuff that could get damaged by the heat. So that is what heat sinks do. Shout out to those of you that got it, because it's not an easy one, but these are real important. If you think of our Raspberry Pi, when we get that kit, those of you that worked on that with me, there's a very tiny one of these inside of it, and it goes right on top of the CPU in the Raspberry Pi. And you don't actually need to use it in there because it stays pretty cool, but if you're going to run the Raspberry Pi for something that was asking a lot of the Raspberry Pi, making it work really hard, you would want to put that heat sink in there just for that extra pulling the heat off. Okay, so I think that's everything. Yeah, we got a couple more of these to do, but thanks everybody for participating. It's been fun for me, and hopefully you've maybe learned something along the way. I don't know. Have a good one.